Do you mind? Are you done? Excuse you. Hello everyone, it is officially the end of 2017. The other day I was reflecting on all the things that happened this year and I thought I would share my best and worst moments of 2017 with you guys. Worst. The first and only time in my life that I have missed a flight. So we were on our way to Colorado. We booked our Uber early in the morning so that we could get to the airport on time, and the Uber driver got lost, and we canceled on the first Uber driver and ordered another Uber, and then they got lost, and then we finally get into the Uber, and we're on our way to the airport. We're almost there, and then we realized that we forgot one of the backpacks at the house. So then we just went straight to the airport, and then called a friend and had them deliver the backpack from the house, and then we missed our flight, and that really sucked. Laughing about it now, but in the moment I was angry. So it ended up being fine. We ended up just booking the next flight out, but still it was like a couple $100 extra, so that sucked. Best, I would say seeing the Rocky Mountains for the first time with my own eyes was unbelievable. So beautiful. It was February. There was snow everywhere. There was this moment where we went through some mountains and it just like opened up, and all of a sudden it was just like picturesque, snowy mountains. It was so gorgeous. I literally gasped. It was definitely one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Worst, getting stuck in traffic in the same spot for 4 hours in the snow in the Rocky Mountains. So we were actually going to hike this place called Hanging Lake, and we were driving from Denver, and it was so snowy, and we got really far, and then all of a sudden traffic just stopped, and we were in the same spot for 4 hours. Once traffic finally moved, there was like probably like 3 or 4 inches of snow on the car and on the roads. At that point, it was already too dark to actually make the hike, so we ended up just turning around, and I was really disappointed because I really wanted to do that hike, but it was just way too snowy to make it out there. It was really scary because there were cliffs and snow and ice everywhere, so we just drove very slowly, but we made it back safe, so that's good. Best, swimming with whale sharks. That was so crazy. When I went to Mexico, I went on a day trip where we swam with whale sharks, and I saw a sea turtle and a manta ray, and it was so amazing. There's just something really incredible about being out in the ocean with these huge animals. Worst, getting super seasick swimming with the whale sharks. A few days before we went on the trip to swim with the whale sharks, there was a tropical storm, so the ocean was extremely rough and choppy, and I just got so seasick, and it was the first time in my whole life that I did, and it was horrible, and I was super sick, and I felt horrible, but I was still really thankful to have had that experience. It was a crazy day. They literally give you a snorkel and push you in the ocean with like 30 whale sharks. It was crazy. So I would say that in itself was like a really like equally good and bad, best and worst moment of 2017 for me. Best, seeing Mayan ruins and swimming in a cenote. That was really, really cool, being able to actually see Chichen Itza and climbing up to the top of Koba. We were fortunate enough to have a really awesome guide that was just passionate about history, so it was really awesome being able to learn about, you know, what humans are capable of, even so long ago. It was really, really cool. Worst, being told my dog wasn't pregnant. I adopted a dog this year, which is definitely a best for me. After having her for a couple weeks, she started to gain a lot of weight, and I took her to the vet because I got her from the street, so I wasn't sure if maybe she could be pregnant. And the vet told me no, and so I didn't prepare myself for the puppies that I ended up having to take care of, which was crazy. Best, seeing the puppies for the first time. The first time I saw them, I literally sat on the floor and started crying. It was really emotional because I had been caring for my dog throughout her whole pregnancy pretty much. Being able to like see these like little beans that were growing inside of her, they were literally like this big. Worst, having an anxiety attack in a mall in Japan. I was at an outdoor mall and it was raining and there were so many people and no one cared about bumping into each other or anything, and my anxiety was just through the roof and I freaked out and it was horrible. So that is definitely a worst. Best, there was a day where we went to Miyajima Island and there's just these wild deer everywhere, and a lot of people feed them even though you probably shouldn't. But my mom picked up a pamphlet and she was really excited about it, and then this curious deer walked up to her and she was like, "Oh, how cute," and it thought that she was trying to hand it the pamphlet, and so it took a bite out of the pamphlet and my mom was like, "Oh no, oh no," and she was like pulling it back and like fighting with this deer. It was hilarious. I was laughing so hard. Worst, struggling with finding vegan food in Japan. Finding vegan food in Japan was a lot more difficult than I was expecting, and it led to being hangry a lot. So if you're vegan and you go to Japan, I would suggest bringing a lot of snacks with you. Best, visiting all of the beautiful Buddhist and Shinto temples and shrines in Japan. There was one day in particular which I remember there being like a really special moment. I walked into one of the temples and there were these two men and they were chanting in another language, and their voices were just so deep and so full, and it was like filling up the room and it just sounded so beautiful, and they were singing and it was just like really incredible to hear. And then off in the distance I heard drums, so we went over there to check it out. I'm not totally sure what exactly was happening, but it was really beautiful. I do feel very fortunate to have been able to experience that while I was there. Making this video really made me realize that I had like way more positive things happen to me this year than negative things, so I'm just gonna share a whole bunch of positive things now. 93.3 Alt-A Z played a couple of my songs this year. I feel like 13-year-old me would be really proud. I finally got to release a set of songs that I had been working on for a really long time, my band Eclipses For Eyes. So it's called Polaris, so we released that this year, which was really awesome. But a highlight moment of that is definitely our CD release show. When I'm on stage, I feel like I just go off somewhere else, but there was one specific moment that I remember. I like looked out into the crowd and I just saw all of my friends, and it was so amazing seeing them all there with us. It was a really awesome, special day. We had been working on these songs for a really long time, so it was a huge relief. Another best moment from 2017 would be playing with the Used in Glassjaw. That was crazy. We were so fortunate to have the opportunity to play with the Used in Glassjaw at the Van Buren, which is a beautiful venue. It was so awesome. And again, 13-year-old me would be stoked. Another highlight of 2017 is definitely seeing the bamboo forest in Kyoto. When I was growing up, I loved National Geographic magazines, and I would look through them and I would cut out all the photos of places that I wanted to visit one day, and I specifically remember having a photo of a bamboo forest, and so it was so cool to actually go to one. It was really, really beautiful, and that was really awesome. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it inspires you to reflect on your year and hopefully focus on all the positive things and maybe all the lessons you've learned this year. So, thank you for watching. Bye. Bye.